Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is also podcast Vanderpump Rules, the new class, season 12, reunion one. I cannot believe there's more than one reunion, to be honest, but that is what we get. So that is what we will cover.
Yes. It's just odd for like a show. Because I still think of this as like a season one show. So like it's clearly not being treated as a season one because it is truly a season 12. So like my mind just constantly gets confused by that.
The producers really, the Bravo execs, they did this show dirty. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's hard because... yeah, I think like in the senses of like Southern Charm, Southern Hospitality, Summer House, Winter House, those shows, their first season should only get one reunion. There's not that much.
Typically, you don't get a reunion. Next Gen NYC this summer, they didn't get a reunion.
Listen, if Below Deck's not getting a reunion, season ones of these shows don't need reunions. And I think Below Deck deserves more reunions, to be honest. But, all right, we have a reunion. We'll get into it in a second. Before we do, please check us out on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Patreon. All the links are in our description. And please be sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Okay, before we get into the reunion, we got into a little scuffle on the internet, Meredith.
Which, this is kind of my doing.
For the record, Meredith cares way more than I do. But I am so proud of her and how she did. Because, man, if it was up to me, I would have made more enemies.
It helped, I think, that you were on vacation, so I just, took the reins.
I couldn't care that much. I was without service.
Yes. Okay, so last week, I guess, for the finale episode, I've been trying to grow our YouTube channel, so I put up our, final accepted in block clip from Vanderpump Rules, and if you actually do listen to this podcast, you heard us, Venus was our top accepted, which, isn't us thing. It's not about who they are as people, but Venus was our top from the season. We also, at the end of the episode, discussed your journey with Natalie and, how, disliking someone from the beginning and then,
loving them at the end.
Liking them. Yeah, great. So, our top two people, I would say, from the season, and I will stand on this, we do not like this season. We do not like how they recast this show, how they produced it, whatever.
How many episodes it was given.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we dislike, but we do like them within the dislike. So then I reached out to them on Instagram about potentially coming on the podcast. I'd already reached out to them once prior. They said nothing, which you don't owe me a response. All good.
That's fine.
But I also, on a personal thing, a mood board, have a bunch of things I want to do, and part of that is just being more, I'll say, aggressive on outreach about this podcast, about getting guests on, whether it's content creators, other podcasts, people on the shows, and I want 300 rejections, and boy did I get 2 of them. So I reached out to them about coming on. Venus posted a clips of our podcast saying that we were bullies. Why would he come on? You don't have to come on. All good with that. We have no beef about them not coming on. I sent it to Alicia, and we'd kind of discussed it slightly, but I stand on not liking this podcast and liking them. I can hold both of those things.
No, not liking this show. You like this podcast.
I like this podcast.
My God, I'm taking
this podcast
praise.
Sucks. This show sucks. I suck.
Covering the show, sometimes the podcast does suck.
I'm sure. But I can hold 2 things on my side of things that I don't like this show. I think it's not that entertaining overall as a collective. Have we had fun episodes? Yes. And I like who Venus and Natalie are as reality TV stars. I think that they are thank God that they're on this because they made it entertaining. I still stand on that. And if they can't hold those separately, my thoughts on those 2 things separately, that's fine. I don't have any issues with them. I'm good. I don't know if you want to say anything else, Alicia.
Yeah, I'll just say a few things. One, reality TV to me is something that's very fun to discuss different opinions. And that's where I find a lot of love in reality TV. Even though, for example, old school Vanderpump Rules, at the beginning, I didn't like Stassi. And, let's say, hypothetically, I don't remember exactly, Meredith did. And it was fun to sit down and be I don't like Stassi for these reasons. And Meredith to be I like her for these reasons. And us to discuss that. And that's what made the show fun. And reality TV is a way to look at different behaviors that you don't experience every day and think, how would I deal with a person like this? How would I handle myself in this situation? And I think that's what we love about this podcast is we really dive deep into 2 specific shows and discuss all the different scenarios, all the different characters, everything. And if you don't like the way we're covering it, you're also welcome to say your opinion. But my thing is, if you are a reality TV star, you have to be ready for people to comment on what you are showing, and we can understand this isn't the full picture of who you are as a person.
Yeah, definitely.
But you have to be comfortable with other people having an opinion. So us saying we don't like the show is not a dig on you. You have to be able to separate that. We're not bullying you because we don't enjoy the show. There are reasons we've given, and if you'd like to come back and give us reasons why you think the show is great, we're open to those. You don't have to just put us on blast and say we're bullies all of a sudden. And two, most of the sound clips were me, and I'll own that proudly for the rest of my life because
I agree.
I'm a little rude.
I stand
and
by
I'll
what you
it.
said in those too, by the way.
Here's the thing. In my opinion, to Venus, the sound clips he pulled were cut in a way that if you continued listening, you would know it wasn't me coming at you specifically. Because at the beginning of this show, I always say a little sentence or two about what I thought of this specific episode. He clipped those a lot, and most of them were me saying this episode was boring. And he took that to be like, oh, they're saying our show is boring and we're boring. And that's not necessarily it. I understand that this is very produced. So this could also be put on them.
Them being the producers.
Yeah. So, and I think there was one clip that really pissed me off where I said, like, he clipped it saying, I can't believe the show got a second season. However, what he clipped out was me saying, and Summer House Martha's Vineyard did not, because I'm a big advocate for that show, and Bravo seems to cut minority voices. So I was advocating for that. I did also call them losers, which I'll own up, and that's on me. And if he wants a public apology, I'll do that. But
it wouldn't be your first apology on this podcast.
Listen, I've done worse. Honestly, I think what I did to my cousin was way worse, and he forgave me. So I don't think this was that bad. But overall, listen, this is a show that we are covering because we enjoy reality TV and we like discussions on it. And I think this was even more interesting because Meredith and I did differ more than we normally do on characters. And that made it fun for us to cover.
And even the show, you came in not wanting to do it. I made us do this. And, like, we've grown into, I would say, a more medium of, like, okay, this is a mid show. Like, let's be so honest about it. Every season one is kind of mid. And, like, you should have room to grow. I think that there is potential in these people. And I'm not saying that because we got into this, like, beef. Like, I genuinely think that especially Venus and Natalie are the people who would, like, carry that forward. With, like, Marcus and Kim. Because, like, I think that foursome are the most interesting on this cast.
But then that being said, like, you can't be if you're gonna be a big reality TV star, you can't be butthurt if people don't like your show or don't like you. You can't just call them bullies. You don't have to come on our podcast.
Well,
that's
you
fine.
can, but, like, I don't agree with it. So.
You're also welcome. Listen, to this day, if Venus is like, I have beef with them, he's welcome to come on this podcast. He could bring Natalie too, and I'm happy to tell them this to their face. Like, I have no issue. You're being paid to do this, and so I have a right to then respond. And you have a right to not like my content either.
Absolutely.
That's fine, but if you actually listen, we actually liked you a lot.
That's what I was, like, so confused about when I, like, texted it to you. But
you should hear what we said about Angelica.
Which we're not even going to dive into that.
Well, you could go listen to our episodes.
Where this stands is I don't have any hurt feelings for them. No. I don't care about everything that happened. We're going to leave it here. We will not contact them in the future, like, at all. Like, I will not tag them in anything. I will not DM them. Like, I will keep following them just because, like, if something happens, like, we're going to report on it. But we're going to leave them alone, and that's fine.
Yeah, we'll discuss and see where we land on doing season 2 of the new class, season 13 of Vanderpump Rules. But we will try to do these reunions. No, we will. We won't even try. We will do these reunions bias-free.
Yeah, because, again, you're
I don't really
character
care.
On a screen.
I don't really care that much. My life is the same after his Insta story. Okay, it affected me 0%.
Like, if it was on the show, obviously I would have to talk about it. But, like, this, I'm always gonna just review exactly what we just saw.
Actually, Meredith, for a second, I was like, wouldn't it be so cool if Andy was like, we gotta bring these girls on because this cast hates them. And they have to take a beating live. I'd be like, down.
Wait. Hear me out.
Make it public beef.
Call us to BravoCon. We can squash the beef live at Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, there we go. I would be one of those, like, like those rude ass housewives that would just be like, I don't have beef. They have beef. That would be me. Be
like, you double down on your loser comment.
Yeah, these losers are the ones with beef, not me. And you would be like, oh my God, we have to squash the beef separately. I can't take you down with me. You're the only reason I'm not always bullying people out here on these streets.
We're not bullies. I will say that.
We're not bullies.
That's the one. That and the comment about season 2 and cutting out the Summer House Martha's Vineyard are the things I'm most passionate about.
Dare. All right, let's get into this reunion. Yeah, yes. This unbiased reunion. Okay, so Andy does his hellos. Of course, Lisa is at this reunion. It's been 13 years since the first Vanderpump Rules reunion, which I don't even remember that one. I do kind of. I think we talked about how Saucy broke Jax's nose, and that stuck with me for a long time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think she punched him. Because domestic violence was less talked about in a bad way then. Yeah, it was fun.
Yes. I forgot that we do these at SUR. So I was like, oh, hey. Because they were like right at this bar, the first reunion. And I was like, you're so right. Like, to me, everything is always on a soundstage.
Yeah, in New York, normally. Like, or I guess depending on the coast. Well, the last Vanderpump Rules reunion that we had with, the one with Raquel,
those were on sound stages. Yeah, but those are done in LA.
They are. But yeah, there have been sound stages. I think once
You're so right. Once they stopped really working there.
That's true. They didn't have jobs there. I was like, once they got bigger, but no, you're right. It's all when they stopped working there.
Yeah. I wonder if COVID was the pivot because of like being able to distance people. And then also with the season, what was that? 10, whenever Raquel and Sheena had to be separated, like that probably really needed a lot more space.
Yeah, there was also that one where the Toms, he had the sidecar. That was a sound stage too.
Yeah,
well, it doesn't matter. So we do like a round of hellos. Venus is here. He's manifesting surviving the drama. Angelica confirms she would pick up Andy from LAX. Shane has a hot dumb guy laugh. Marcus and Kim are still together, and Marcus is 80 to 90% straight. Natalie grew up in the same neighborhood as Ariana Grande, and Demi has a new man in her life, an old GM at SUR named Reed.
Of course.
So we talk about how Demi worked with the former Vanderpump Rules cast when they did actually work at Vanderpump Rules. She said mainly with Raquel. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry. At SUR. She says she worked mainly with Raquel and James a lot, and then Sandoval would pop in and bartend. So I think it was at the tail end of when like some people were fake working there.
Sheena was like forced to come in for shifts.
Her and like, Jax. So remember Jax would be like behind the bar and we'd be like, what is he doing? He wasn't even good when he worked here. Okay, so Natalie then shares that she actually served Kim at SUR before Kim started working there.
Wild. That's interesting. They have a very vivid memory of that too.
Yeah. Jason got demoted. Haha, funny. Audrey right now is giving a slutty Marilyn Monroe, and Chris has normalized penis pumps. And Andy loves that because he doesn't have one and he really wasn't even sure about it, but now he's more aware of the penis pump phenomenon.
Andy has an ability to just like ask any questions, no matter how awkward they might be.
Yeah.
Like to just be like, listen, tell me it all.
He makes everyone feel comfortable, which is why he's great at reunions.
Yeah. And on Watch What Happens Live, because that's where that discussion initially happened.
Yeah. So we talk about rebooting Vanderpump Rules and the comparisons. Lisa says she understands people comparing the show, but these are different people. And she says they all have really good personal stories, which I'll say there were a lot of great personal stories.
Yeah.
The comparison, though, you gotta be ready for.
They chose to put it under the Vanderpump Rules banner, like the producers in Bravo. And that's, again, where I think that they just made a huge misstep.
I agree. Okay, so Marcus, once upon a time, episode 1 of this season, got caught drinking at work. So he is asked, who drinks the most at work? And he says him and Demi when they're on the clock.
The way he goes, can I be honest? Can I be honest? And he's just staring. And I was like, who is he staring at specific? I was thinking he was staring at like maybe Natalie because she's a bartender, like has easier access. He just kept saying, can I be honest? And everybody's like, go for it. And then when he's like, Demi, and she's like, oh, I was like,
well, Lisa was like, what the fuck? But then Demi clarifies that she has vodka sodas while doing the paperwork and counting the cash in the back. Which I get
that because they like go out sometimes, I think, after their shifts. So like, I think Lisa's like, okay, I see what you're doing. You have a lot more stuff. Yeah. Like, Makes sense to me.
That's why Peter wasn't out as much with the crew back in the day.
Sure.
He was counting the money. And Lisa does confirm she's okay with that. Natalie had her week-long suspension when we first started this show because she was screaming at Paolo, her ex, her 54-year-old ex.
Great hot start to this season, I will say.
So Natalie said her intention was not to yell at Paolo. She came in with her family and he was being really nice to her family and that triggered her. And I was like, hey girl, whatever, whatever. To me,
that cracked me up.
I'd rather him be nice to my family, but what do I know?
Yeah, she was like, he wasn't talking to me, so then he's nice to my family.
Yeah, so now I'm gonna yell at him. It was awesome.
And I love that. I didn't have any intentions of doing that. Yeah, no, I never thought that you came in prepared to scream at him over the bar.
That wasn't anyone's thought. So don't you worry about we got it. But then we learned Paolo was involved in an accident a few weeks ago, but he's okay. It's weird not having a face to Paolo, but he's like a main character.
If you go onto Sir's Instagram, though, he's on there. Like, you can go see who he is. He just won't sign the release. Because they put a video up about this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he had a dinner with Natalie, and then he was going home, and Natalie was like, let me know when you get back, and she never heard from him. So then she called Demi, and they found Paolo in the ICU. But Paolo's okay. He's okay. There's obviously this weird thing, because Demi used to have a thing with Paolo before Natalie, so Demi clarifies she did have a fling with him. But he wanted something more serious, and she couldn't give that to him. So then Paolo started talking to the new girl, which was Natalie. And Natalie claims she has no idea that Demi was dating Paolo before, but Demi disagrees. And then Natalie is like kind of up in arms about the drama, and Demi is like, no, this brought us closer. Like, calm down. We're friends now because of Paolo.
It's so interesting to have to rehash something that, like, happened, and then you guys became friends. So, like, the emotions are still there about, like Natalie is adamant that, like, she didn't know. And it's like, it doesn't matter because, like, you guys are friends now, but you're fighting about something that, like, you weren't close with beforehand. Yeah. So it's, like, adding drama to your friendship that doesn't actually affect it.
It's also strange because, like, it happened before the season, but then it's discussed on the season, which I'm only saying is hard because you don't get to rewatch what happened and be like, oh, this is where this came in, and like put it together from all sides. You just have to kind of be like, hey, we're still doing he said, she said, and now we have to rehash it. But we can't look back upon it.
That's so true. And this wasn't like this is why I think I struggle with it being a 2-part reunion, is this doesn't affect the season that we had.
A lot of, I won't even say most, but I'll say there's a majority of questions or topics that Andy brings up that's only like 1 or 2 sentences, and then we move on because it wasn't that big a thing, and this was one of them.
This is stuff to talk about on Watch What Happens Live. The extra details, getting to know the cast more, and that cast, they didn't all go on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah, I agree. So then let's talk about Natalie's friendship with Marcus and why it was triggering to Kim, because that was a big thing.
I was ready for.
If you remember, it only lasted like a few episodes, and then we like died a little bit, but let's talk about it because it was a main thing. So Kim says she wasn't triggered because Marcus only has women friends, a lot of which he's hooked up with. I don't believe Marcus would cheat. On something I may have said differently previously, I think if Marcus and Kim are dating, he wouldn't cheat. I think it's when they break up for 5 hours that he would hook up with someone else. Yeah.
Which, like, then it's like a formality of it. Yeah, that's what we kind of inherently discussed, is that, like, does he sleep with other people when they're on their, like, breaks and breakups?
Maybe.
I find it very interesting when, like, a straight guy only has girlfriends.
Well, that either means he's more than 10% gay or he's cheating. Those are, like, kind of the 2 options I go to.
I think that there's an in-between of, like, you enjoy having female friendships, which, like, are very beneficial. But to me, I think there is going to be an inherent jealousy that can just come up on Kim's side. That's totally valid. But at the same time, like, why would Marcus tell you the truth? Like, and you, just in society we live in, I'm not saying Kim is doing this, but, like, you tend to, like, trust what your boyfriend's saying over some, like, girls.
Yep.
Because we hate women's society. Like, it's a natural thing kind of, like, embedded in us that it becomes, like, this competitive dynamic. And if your boyfriend knows that bothers you and he's not trying to, like, even out his, like, friendships, like, and he only is going to these women to seek emotional support, like, wouldn't you want him to go to you for that?
Well, that's the other thing is she says she's not threatened by these women, but she was by Natalie, which is interesting.
Yeah, like what's the difference? That's what I don't get. I understand every time Natalie, well, let's discuss it, but I understand every time Natalie's like, what's the difference between me and Demi?
Yes, yeah, okay, we'll discuss it. But Kim says Natalie is someone who gets close to someone else really fast. So Natalie became friends with Marcus, and then in Natalie's eyes, I think her and Marcus were good friends, right? She gets really close to him. But she had made a call to Marcus bashing Kim and Demi. It was after the suspension, and Natalie had called Marcus, according to Kim, and said that Kim and Demi aren't good friends and weren't there from her. But then Marcus comes in and is like, that's not what she said. So he's sticking up for Natalie.
I appreciate,
but my God, you are going to hear about it on the way home, my guy. Like, okay.
But all season, like, this type of stuff happened where it was like a he said, she said, and Marcus would flip-flop on it. Yes. So I appreciate, like, let's set the record straight here.
Yeah. So Marcus says Natalie had said she was hurt that no one had her back. So Kim had then sent a text to Natalie. I usually write down the text, but I didn't care about this. But it basically said that Kim loves Natalie, but reaching out to Marcus is inappropriate. And this is a boundary that Kim is setting, and she would appreciate if Natalie didn't do it again. And Natalie then said, so I can't talk to him, but Demi can. I don't agree with it, but I'm trying to look at it from Kim's perspective.
Yeah.
I think Demi, and we've seen this in the show, she's not naturally flirty. She's not naturally like
it's a very platonic.
Yeah, she's not seeking out Marcus and his friendship. I think if they're both in the same place, they will like kiki a little, but like she's not flirting with him. Natalie naturally kind of flirts with everyone, as we saw. She was basically dating like 3 guys she didn't even know she was dating this whole season.
They thought she was dating them.
This isn't necessarily a fault in Natalie, but maybe something to be aware of. She then comes across very flirty towards everyone, which I think that's when Kim is like, hey, there's a boundary to be set. Like, you could be friends with my man, but you shouldn't call him and talk about me. Or like, you could be friends with my man, but you shouldn't be texting him heels. You know what I mean? Like, there's a clear boundary that Kim wants to set.
I generally have an issue when people talk about boundaries because on reality TV, because they tend to talk about them incorrectly. You can't set a boundary on someone else.
For someone else, yes.
Yeah. So like, I understand Kim saying like, this stuff bothers me, but you need to talk to your boyfriend Marcus and say, stop answering her calls. Like, it's for you guys to discuss and for Marcus to set a boundary on the communication that he has with Natalie and keeping it platonic. But the thing is Kim won't do that because, like, Marcus won't do that. Marcus won't keep it platonic. Like, I agree. Natalie is a flirtatious person. She, like, makes connections really fast. And I understand why Kim is bothered by what Natalie is doing. I think it also is heightened because of like Kim's own emotions. Like, I don't think Natalie is going into it with the intentions that Kim is also getting upset with it.
Yes.
I do find it frustrating it being about the call of Natalie saying, thank you for sticking up for me. I'm like, that's a crazy thing to be like, stop calling him when you're just saying like, thank you. Granted, more things could be tied to that phone call, but it's wild to me to get so upset about a phone call of somebody just like genuinely saying like, thank you for your support and friendship.
Maybe, but okay, so then, because we don't really, this is my other problem with the producers specifically on the show, is I feel like we never get a full story on anything.
Yeah.
Because now I'm wondering, okay, on this call, sure, Natalie calls Marcus like, thank you for having my back, but did she also say like, fuck Kim and Demi for not having my back? Because then if I'm Marcus's girlfriend, I'm like, don't say that to my boyfriend kind of thing.
Because Marcus said, he never said anything about Demi and Kim specifically, just that other people didn't have her back. She was upset that no one had her back, but Marcus did, and like, she's grateful for that. But I can see Marcus then pivoting, going
to look at Marcus.
Kim, and saying, yeah, she was really upset that you guys didn't have her back. And he related as if Natalie said them specifically, even though it was a generic comment.
I think the other thing is, and this might just be me, like, honestly, if I'm friends with a guy and I get a text from his girlfriend that's like, hey, I love you, but it's inappropriate to call my boyfriend, please don't do it again, I'm probably not calling that guy again because it's not, like, worth the time and effort.
If I'm friends with the girl, agree. I think that's just the good thing to do. Like, if I had a best friend, like I've actually do have this where like have been friends with this guy for 8 years. His girlfriend came in. I wanted to become really good friends with her, but like, let's say I didn't click with her or something, and I would call him about stuff like, hey, we're going to do this. Do you want to do that? What's going on?
No.
And if
about
she told
personal stuff about you.
Yeah. If she told me like that upset her, I would go talk to him. I would be like, hey, can we
Same.
talk about our friendship? Because again, like, this is a one-to-one thing for me, and it's for us to set boundaries between our friendship.
I think I would do that too, but I'd be like, look, like, I'm going to set... Well, first of all, if I got that text from the girlfriend, I probably wouldn't call my guy friend then and be like, this is all that's happening to me. If I'm calling about plans, I think that's separate.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I then, like... I think I would go to him and be like, this is the text I received. If you feel this way, that is fine. Like, I'm okay. I will take a step back. But I would say, like, it's on you now to reach out to me. Whether we agree to or not, now if you want to keep this friendship alive, because it's someone in your life that's trying to, again, put a boundary on you, I'm just not going to cross this line because it's not worth it to me to then take the fall for this. So then I'm wondering if Natalie received that text and maybe was like, Marcus, your girlfriend's a freak. Like, I don't know. We just don't get the full story.
I agree.
But this is the fun about reality TV. We get to look at all these options and be like, how would we handle it? So now Kim and Demi during this reunion are like coming at Natalie about how she screamed in their faces when the Paolo thing happened, which I think also wasn't reflected because, like, why would I have your back if you're screaming at me? You know what I mean? But we're all out of order.
I also think we have to take that Natalie, like, Paolo situation and be like, that is a moment in time where Natalie is, like,
was at her worst.
Acting out. Yeah, and, like, it wasn't about them. Yeah, were they, like, in the crossfires? Yeah, but, like, to be like, our friendship's over because of this. If it is, then, like, we done and dusted. Like, actually, like, communicate that and be like, I need space. I agree. But to, like, hold that over her is crazy to me.
I think to hold it over her is wild unless she said something. Because, again... Listen, we've all been there. Sometimes you're yelling at someone and you're like, you're a fucking bitch, get out of my face. Yeah. Then I'm like, fuck you then. Like, I'm not going to have your back kind of thing. Like, if one of my friends was just screaming about her ex, I'm still going to be your friend. Yeah. If you turn it on me, that's crazy.
It feels like they're trying to grab it and bolster their argument of, like, why Natalie's a bad person because they're mad at her for this, like, Marcus incident. And then they're, like, trying to tack on other stuff to be like, see, and these are all the reasons we're not friends with you. Rather than just, like, honing in on the real reason and dealing with it.
I wish we had footage because I just have to know what happened.
Same. This is what's tough is, like, they had a lot of, like, their dynamics are so complex already for a first season together. I hate when things happen off camera because
it's hard for us to then make a decision on how we feel about it. And we have to play devil's advocate. Yeah.
I hope that's something that, like, gets fixed in the next season is, like, they're able to put, like, a holistic storyline just completely on the camera.
Yeah. So Natalie is mostly pissed that Kim called her not a girl's girl because Natalie is a girl's girl. And I do agree now. I didn't in episode 1. I agree now.
I appreciate Audrey standing up for her, though,
Audrey
in this.
Agrees. Yeah. And Kim says Natalie has thrown them under the bunch and told a bunch of lies. But Natalie says Kim also lied about her. And Venus calls Kim a bully. And then Natalie had went on Lala's podcast about how the girls made stuff up and in their mind called them bullies. And Natalie says she was hurt after watching the first episode and she was uncomfortable coming into work because she's treated differently. And then they yell at each other and nothing gets resolved.
One thing I will say is let's continue to look at Marcus because I think Marcus is the issue in the communication here.
It's always the man.
One thing happens between him and Natalie and then Marcus, sometimes I don't even think he intentionally does this, but he like tells a version to Kim that is tailored to Kim. So he'll, like, bring up Kim's name as if Natalie did, even though she didn't.
I think he's really desperate to, not, like, in a bad way, but he really, maybe desperate's the wrong word, but he really wants to, like, tell Kim drama that shows that he's pro-Kim. Like, remember at Sir that one time when Natalie said something to him and he went to Kim and was like, oh my God, you'll never guess what crazy Natalie did. And then when Kim said, I'm going to go confront Natalie, he was like, no. Because he tailored it to be like,
what, like, the impact will be for Kim and then what she'll do.
He's so desperate to be on Kim's good side, but he loves the drama so much that he tailors it towards her. And then he ends up making a bigger shit storm for Kim.
I agree. Like, I think he loves the drama. He loves the storytelling. And he definitely tailors it to her. That's a really good point.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Chris and Audrey, because that we saw. This we can have opinions on. They had chemistry from the beginning. Chris does confirm, though, that he usually has a thing for older women, specifically when he was a teen. This was so strange.
Why do people, like, say stuff like this and out the this teenager? Is so weird.
Jesus. Audrey was surprised to hear Chris was on 2 different dating shows. Chris confirms he was not on those dating shows to find love. He did lie to get on those shows.
Which I don't fault him for. Everybody frickin' does.
You could go out every single day and say, I'm looking for love, and still deny 100% of the people that, like, I do that. I'm like, yeah, I'm open to love, and then someone looks at me, I'm like,
everybody on those shows, okay, so there's some people who actually, like, might be interested in finding love. I think anybody, if they found love, would take it.
I think everyone's interested, but not everyone's looking.
But every person, 100% of those people who show up are interested in having a platform.
They all want to be famous, yeah, for sure.
So, like,
that's their first priority. Second priority is, like, bonus if love happens.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't fault him for these statements.
We talk about all the time because we watch all these dating shows. I mean, no one goes on Love is Blind anymore to find love, but...
Honestly, I'm convinced that all those people don't want love at this point.
Yeah,
at least 100%. Want both.
Yeah. So Chris does confirm that he lied, but he wasn't looking for love. And then Jason is asked about Chris and Audrey dating, and Jason's like, this was a long time on Chris's standard.
Which is so embarrassing.
And then Jason is like, Chris is an Aries. That makes sense. And I was like, the fuck does that have to do with your dating?
Jason. Why is this coming from Jason?
Jason's like, Chris is an Aries. That tells you everything you need to know. And I'm like, does it? Okay. We all know how I feel about astrology. So Chris says he's just now growing the fuck up. At the ripe age of 31, he's finally slowly becoming an adult. He has talked to a bunch of girls. He's hooked up with a ton of girls. But, he learns that the faster he hooks up with someone, the quicker the story ends.
No way, my God.
Oh my God, it's like math. It's incredible. It's FIFO, first in, first out. You know what I mean? So Audrey says she usually does wait to hook up a while to make sure that she likes the person. And so she wanted to wait to sleep with Chris, which Chris confirms he was fine with. So then once upon a time, Chris said he was going to fuck mad bitches in Bali, right?
I'm so happy this made it to the reunion. I screamed out loud.
Someone give me a shirt that says fuck mad bitches in Bali, because I've said it a million times.
Because Andy said it like in a trimmed down version, and Lisa Audrey was like, no. Somebody was like, no, it's fuck mad bitches in Bali.
I think it was Audrey was like, I think you're missing the main thing. He wasn't just going to Bali. He was going to fuck mad bitches in Bali.
Correct.
Okay, so this was apparently Chris's second red flag, according to Audrey. Audrey says, in the moment that Jason's brother had called, Chris didn't really respond in a bad way. It was more of like... Good. Yeah. Which is what we said, because we were like, how did this spiral into what it was? But Audrey confirms internally she was then spiraling, because she's like, oh my God, is he going to go to Bali?
It made her start having the questions. Doubts. It wasn't like his behavior. Yeah, it was like, wait, this is something to think about. I already am questioning his reality TV experience. Now, this is giving me a bigger push to be like, he's being fake with me. Like, this is just a storyline.
So it was also Audrey. She was hearing conversations about the different dating shows. And Chris says he was being really authentic on this show because it wasn't a dating show. So he could be his self, which I get. On these dating shows, you have to be in a date to stay. Like Perfect Match, which is I think his second show he was on, you literally need to be coupled up to stay the night.
Yeah, so you're gonna like heighten your interest in people. But I'm like, stop. Like, it's hard to believe, because Jason and Chris, like, they're very obvious producer plans, like, I get that they were trying to build out this cast, but everything they say about the show in a general sense, I'm always like, I inherently don't believe.
Well, we always say, like, if someone's on a reality TV show that you want to date, you should watch them on the show. We've said that about Brittany and Jax. We've said that about so many other people. Doesn't matter. If I then watch your reality TV shows and you're telling me this wasn't authentic, and also you didn't have a great edit on at least the one I watched, that then puts the doubt in my mind already. And then you're going to fuck mad bitches in Bali. Like, what you're showing me isn't exactly great for me to believe. Even if you are authentic, it's hard to believe it, because you're supposed to be authentic.
It's hard to remove the doubt that at least this is a possibility that I could be being played right now. And so, like, I have to make my decisions off of your past.
So it is hard. So a woman then also posted that she had been sleeping with Chris the whole length of the show filming. So Audrey was shown by Natalie a Reddit thread that there were certain details on it that made Audrey think Chris was banging this girl.
What details?
This is what Reddit's saying. The Reddit person was seeing Chris, and Chris was telling the Reddit person that the relationship on the show is fake. But Audrey knows that the relationship she had wasn't fake. And Chris also confirms that their relationship was real and the Reddit thread is just shit. His last show had another rumor of a fake relationship, which I do believe that was fake.
Wait, that the last instance of him being in a fake
Perfect Match. Yeah, he didn't really like that girl.
His actual pairing was fake.
Yes.
But did you think he had somebody on the side? Like, because it sounds like this is the second time Reddit threads are saying that he is dating someone else while publicly dating someone, and the public relationship is fake.
In a sense, probably, because Perfect Match is removed. I don't think you're not able to leave.
That's true.
However, when he got off the show and they were doing press, it seemed like he was with this woman.
A different person.
So maybe.
It
seemed like he was with the person from Perfect Match when they were doing,
Okay.
So maybe then, but I don't know. It did come out later, like the woman he was dating from Perfect Match was like the whole thing was fucking fake. And he used
putting on airs and whether there was somebody on the side or not. Yeah,
who knows?
That makes sense. And also, Reddit is just like a cesspool of thoughts and like fake stuff, real stuff, opinions.
We could go post that we were sleeping with Chris too. And then, Chris confirms, though, he didn't sleep with anyone while seeing Audrey. Okay, let's get to Universal Studios, baby, where Chris got dumped and now he can never go back. So basically what happened was Audrey ended things with Chris because she was like, he's not ready to commit. And then Chris at the beach party was like, I'm actually going to commit 100% to you. 2 seconds later, he's telling Jason, I don't want to commit to her. So Andy's kind of like, what the fuck was that? And Chris knows he was inconsistent, and he basically, again, says a lot of nothing to Andy as he's trying to explain himself.
Oh, this pissed me off.
And Audrey said it was actually completely unfair, and Chris has a problem making up his mind. And Lisa, who's a little confused, I love when she's separated from the drama, and she's like, wait a minute, this seems simpler than we're all making it. And she's like, Chris, if you were going on all these trips, and that's why you're going to break up with Audrey, but you liked Audrey, why didn't you ask Audrey to come on the trips with you? Which I was like, damn, Lisa went to full, like,
I didn't even think about that. Like, I get maybe, unless he wants to still fuck mad bitches in Bali, maybe why she's not on the Bali trip, but if he's going to Europe, if he's going to New Jersey, like, why not invite her?
To New Jersey, baby. Yeah. Everyone wants to go to New Jersey.
Maybe not that one because it's with his family, but, like, you're telling me on all these trips, like, she can't go with you for part of it even?
Yeah. So Chris says it comes down to his commitment issues and he's not ready to start a family or have a girlfriend or get married. And Audrey's like, listen, I didn't want to get married or start a family with you. I just wanted to date you in a committed relationship. But she says, look, you wasted my time because, again, she ended things with him for this reason.
That's the only issue with all of this is, like, your choices and not wanting to be with her and to, like, go on your trips. That there's no problem in that. It's that you let her break up with you, got her back just to want the same thing that she wanted when she ended things at Universal.
Well, Andy even says, he's like, it seems like you wanted to get back with Audrey because your ego was hit.
Yes, that's it. I think he really couldn't accept that she broke up with him, so it kind of made him panic and be like, whoa, I can do this. And then it's like, no, you can't.
And Chris has no answer to this when Andy's like, thoughts on my theory?
Because there's nothing going on up there. Like, I don't think, everything we're saying, I don't think he understands it.
No, because he's, sorry, kind of brainless. This is me bullying. He's kind of brainless.
I just don't think that he thinks these through. Like, I think it takes a really self-reflective person, whether you do that on your own or through therapy, to understand why you make decisions. And Agreed. I just don't think he ever thinks through why he did something.
I also think men have bigger ego problems that, like, go, I don't want to say undiagnosed, but unrecognized. Where I don't even think Chris knew that he was hurt that Audrey ended things with him because of his ego. I think he just was like...
That.
Like, I don't even think he realized what he was doing, winning her back and then being like, never mind, I'm going to break up with you for the same reason.
Signals and feels hurt, and so he confuses that with like, no, I want this relationship. I like her. Yeah. Not, I don't want to be embarrassed on TV. Like, I'm hurt that I was broken up with.
Yes. But yeah, Audrey confirmed she was very hurt by this whole situation. I appreciate how, like, honest Audrey is being about her feelings, even if
vulnerable.
She's expressing it in a very angry way, but she's like, yeah, I was really fucking hurt about this. And I was like, hey, that's how I show my hurt too, is I'm just angry.
Yeah, the words she's using, I'm able to register exactly what she's feeling, but yeah, her
she just doesn't want to cry. Yeah, she's just, it's sad or mad at this point, and she's taking mad.
Totally understand that.
But yeah, Chris said he wanted to see other people. That shows Audrey that he was already planning to do that when he said it. So, like, this relationship was nothing, and she's like, I wasn't going to stick around on the side and, like, watch it happen. They haven't hooked up since the show wrapped. Chris is dating someone new, just one person, and Audrey is focusing on herself. And this whole thing hurt Audrey because she didn't feel good enough for someone to commit to her, which Chris is like, it's not you, it's me. And she's like, no, that's great, but, like, my feelings towards it were that I wasn't good enough. Whether you're taking ownership or not, it doesn't change the way I felt in the situation.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Then we do a 5-minute break, and this is where Lisa checks on Audrey. And Lisa really bothers me sometimes because she's like, Audrey, I don't want you to be angry. And I'm like, let her be a little angry, Lisa.
Yeah.
Lisa is she's old school British. She's like, women shouldn't be that angry. Women should just be happy. Yeah. And then Lisa's like, I don't want you to close yourself off to love. And Audrey's like, I'm not. I'm just closing myself off to Chris.
She's 22 years old. Like, if she's a little bitter right now for a few months, let her be bitter.
No, literally, Lisa. Okay, anyway. So we talk about Audrey's 22nd birthday, which Demi is like, who turns 22? Embarrassing. And Andy agrees.
Like, yeah.
And Andy's like, I thought children weren't alive, but here we are, you know? And we talk about how Chris and Jason were lap dancing while Kim cried in the background. This was the first moment I was like, this show's hilarious.
That's where I'm like, this has a lot of potential. This group has the chaos that you need for reality TV. It isn't packaged well.
Yeah. So as I've said before, Jason is basically the new Tom Schwartz, who Tom Schwartz was. That's who they want Jason to be, because we find out he was pre-med, which like, the two worst doctors in the world would be Tom Schwartz and Jason.
Oh,
so how
my God.
Either of these two pre-med?
I'm just curious why they, like, went for it. Like, what in your life? Like, did you have an interest in science? Were you good at it and we just don't read that type of, like, smarts on TV? Like, did you have something in you? Was there a moment to be like, I'm going pre-med?
But both these men, Jason can't be a server because he doesn't know the menu. He doesn't remember it.
I know.
How's he supposed to remember everything a doctor is supposed to remember?
Okay, but some people have unique talents of, like, you're good at something and so, like, it just clicks for you. So if that was true, great. I kind of feel like they just wanted...
There's a bad showing.
I agree, but I want to know deep down, was it because, like, you make a lot of money, like, this is a prestigious career, and so you wanted that, you got into the classes, said, good God, I cannot do, like, bio, like, biochem, or whatever, I don't know the classes, I'm not a science
doctor, I don't know.
I wasn't pre-med. So, like, I just want to know, like, did you enjoy science, and that's where you're like, let me lean into this, or were you like, money?
Well, Jason obviously didn't stick around in the pre-med course because he turned out to be a teen stripper, which he gave his 4th grade teacher a lap dance. That's a weird family dynamic. I don't care. That's a weird family dynamic. I don't care.
Because I don't need anybody, even my 4th grade teacher, if she was watching this podcast, I would be like, weird. Like, I don't need to interact with people who knew me as a small child and never saw me grow up. Like, obviously you have, like, family members or family friends that, like, watched you through every stage. If you saw me at my, like, 8-year-old self, you do not need to see me at my 18-year-old self.
Nope. Weird family dynamics. Anyway, so then we go to Marcus and Kim's relationship. Remember when Marcus said he was falling out of love with Kim and then they got back together 12 hours later? Yeah, let's talk about that. Kim says she was able to recognize that Marcus was going through the loss of his mom. So Kim didn't want to lose Marcus in that moment. I think Kim is like, when Kim loves you, she will love you forever, even if you're pushing her away. And I think Kim probably was privy enough to Marcus's behavior that she recognized that Marcus is pushing everyone away because he's hurt. And so she probably fought back, which that makes more sense. But also, Marcus, you don't got to say you're falling out of love with Kim. That's just mean.
That's the thing.
That's mean.
The way she's saying it on the back of, like, oh, he's falling out of love with her, and her saying, like, oh, he's pushing me away. I'm like, girlie, you're willing to, like, be pushed in front of a train and then get back up and be like, let's do this again. And I worry about her.
Yeah.
Because yes, I understand wanting to support him through this. You see a lot that other people probably don't, but there's no like recovery or like, we're not doing that again. Like, I want her to have like some more self-respect in this about the conversations that they have when they're in the recovery stage. It just feels like she's like, oh, whatever you said, like, it's fine. You're grieving. We're back on 12 hours later.
Yeah. Because in a way, I empathize with Kim because I, too, when I love someone, like, there's very little they could do that's going to, like, make me leave. You know, like,
yeah.
I'm there for a while.
Well, you're willing to go on the journey, I feel like.
Yeah, and, like, my thing is, though, if someone were to say something, like, my boyfriend were to say something like he's falling out of love with me to everyone, if I knew he was grieving, I could give some sort, maybe, of a pass, but there would be a talk where I'd be like, listen, this was mean of you to say. And, like, if you are falling out of love with me, then let us break up and I will try to be there for you as a friend. But, like, you cannot put me down in your grief. You can try to push me away, but that you don't have to be mean about it like that. You can just stop answering my calls. You don't have to tell everyone you're falling out of love with me. You know what I mean?
And then what I dislike is they are like, oh, and we show up and you guys shouldn't worry about it. You did this publicly.
Okay.
I have a big issue when people make their relationship and have it out in a public forum. Like, my parents did this all the time, and then they would want to go to bed and wake up the next morning and pretend like nothing happened. And that bothers me so much because you just dragged us all into this. You at least need to look me in the eye and be like, sorry we did that. Like, acknowledge it. We're moving on. If you want to sweep it under the rug, that's fine, but you at least need to look me in the eye and, like, say we're moving on and that you're going to ignore everything that happened last night.
I agree, because Marcus is like, I think people think we have a good relationship, and everyone's like, no one thinks that.
Yeah.
But they claim they see their own toxicity, which I don't think they fully do.
I think that they know that they have these highs and lows, but I don't think that they understand the journey they're taking the entire group on.
Yeah, I don't think they want to fix it. I think they're just aware that they do this.
Yeah,
and then, like, like you said, it ruins the whole vibe of everyone else, and they don't seem to care or, like, acknowledge that.
I don't think that they know that, like, they're really messing with other people's lives.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I don't know. But so Venus says this relationship has always been like this, and he doesn't think they're compatible. He says it's embarrassing and they can both do better. And Kim clarifies that Venus has not been involved in the relationship for the past 6 months or so. And Marcus says Venus's perspective comes as someone who doesn't know what it's like to be in love. But Venus says, like, sure, but your relationship is really crazy. I think this is a common way to deflect, or is people being like, well, you don't want to know what it's like to be in a serious relationship like this. And because I have been told that before, and I, like, specifically in high school, I had a friend who, like, had a very long-term boyfriend, but they were toxic, and I would say stuff. She'd be like, you don't know, you don't have a boyfriend. But my response to that is, maybe not, but I have parents who are in a really good relationship, so I see how that happens. And we have other friends who, at our age, are in better relationships, so I can see that.
I'm still in the same interaction with relationships that I am to yours.
Yeah, maybe I don't know all the intricacies of your relationship,
Absolutely.
But what I see publicly in my perspective is bad. So I'm telling you that, right? Yeah. Even if behind closed doors it's really good, it shouldn't be bad publicly for everyone to see. That's just, like, also not healthy.
Venus's experience with Marcus and Kim's relationship, like,
is way
breaks
deeper.
My heart for him because he's triangulated, or at least was, because I appreciate Kim saying, like, we have removed him. Like, I'm happy that they have removed him from their relationship. Like, that's amazing. I spoke out with my parents earlier. I was triangulated in my parents' relationship. It's one of those moments where you also feel like you have to be in the relationship because you've been in it for so long. You're the support to both people. You're, like, working it out with them. You feel in the relationship. So trying to put down Venus's opinion, like, he's just too, busybody in our relationship is crazy, because you guys have probably drawn him into it, and now he felt like he had to do this to keep your relationship going as well, to, like, make sure that you guys were okay. And so I'm glad there has been separation, but to put down anything that he thinks about your relationship is crazy. He's the one who saw the most. And even if you guys have gotten better, that still is a reflection of who you can be and who you have been.
And it doesn't sound like you've worked through the toxicity, because you're saying, like, everyone thinks we have a good relationship, so you don't recognize, like, you haven't done the work in the relationship to make it better.
True.
You've
It's
just
not like they were
hidden
like,
it?
oh yeah, Venus hasn't been in our relationship and he hasn't seen the growth that we've done and the work we've put in and here's what we've changed. It's that like, well, Venus just isn't in it anymore. So, like, have you guys changed anything to make yourself less toxic?
So they're like, now that it doesn't affect you as much, you can't have an opinion. It's like, no, I still can. I can still see it.
Yeah.
But then Angelica comes. Oh my God. I hate Angelica. I'm so sorry. She bothers me. Okay. Angelica comes in and says it's not nice of Venus, one of their friends, to say anything like that about their relationship. And Venus is like, look, Angelica, I've seen more than everyone else in this relationship.
Yep.
I can comment on it. And Angelica's like, all I see is a foundation of love.
You are the last person I want to take relationship advice from or like talk about this with. But this is also a reunion and this was a major storyline. So while yes, normally I would think that this is so rude to say in like a normal friendship setting, this is what we need to discuss. This is what we're here for.
Also, Angelica, really all you see is a foundation of love. He turned to the DJ McKenna or whatever and was like, I'm falling out of love with Kim, and made Kim cry, and then he left. You think that's foundation of love? Oh.
That is a real rocky foundation. But Angelica doesn't like pick stable relationships either. She didn't this whole season. Like the way she navigates love is not the way I would want to navigate love. So like if you think that that's stable, sure, but like I find issue with that.
Yeah, I gotta take a step back. So then let's talk about the love triangle of Venus, Kim, and Marcus and their friendship. Venus says he has to love them at a distance because he doesn't trust them. And if they split up, Venus feels like his relationship with Kim would get stronger. The relationship with Marcus would probably stay the same as it is now. Mm-hmm. And Kim says Venus has been in a bad relationship before, and Marcus does remind Venus of his ex, which Venus has admittedly projected onto Marcus. Yeah. All parties are aware of how this friendship is and relationship are unhealthy, but like,
yes.
I appreciate Venus like kind of taking a step back, but I also appreciate Kim being like, okay, we know why Venus has to take a step back from our relationship. It all makes sense.
It feels like they're putting all of that onto Venus's toxic relationship rather than some of their actions too. It's like, yes, it triggers Venus, but why? You are triggering Venus. What are you doing like that? You're saying you acknowledge she was in a toxic relationship, but you can't acknowledge like then what you're doing is crazy.
Yeah. Well, Venus is also like, that's true. And watching Marcus yell at Kim is unsettling and I have to protect myself, which yelling at your girlfriend already right there, let's talk about toxic, but whatever. Marcus feels like Venus doesn't have love, so he inserts himself into other people's relationships. And Venus confirms that he does do this and he needs to stop doing this, which I think there's a lot of like acknowledgement in this group, but there doesn't seem to in these three people. And I think that's like the deep love they do have for each other, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of like work forward. They're just kind of like, we'll just separate.
I think Venus is doing the most though. Like I appreciate the self-reflection. He really understands his role in this, and he has had improvement because he has removed himself. As the friend and as the like third person in the relationship, you are not an integral part of this and you have to remove yourself. They have to stop, like leaning on you and oversharing and all of that stuff. Like that's the boundary that needs to happen. But I think Venus realized like he's also engaging in this. And so like taking that step. So like I really commend him for, taking that space and realizing that it really sucks because you're going to lose that really deep, close relationship with these people. But it's necessary to have a healthy relationship.
I also appreciate how like there doesn't, for once in this reunion, there was no yelling at each other. Like the three of them are very much able to communicate these issues. I agree. And like I appreciated that Venus wasn't yelling. Marcus wasn't hurt by Venus saying that like it was toxic. Kim understands I really like that they were able to communicate it on all parties.
Same.
And there was no yelling. It seems like
they've had these discussions a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it doesn't seem to like hurt anyone. They're just kind of expressing what they've. And maybe it does hurt, but they're not taking it out on each other. They're like, this is just the reality we're in.
Is in the season we saw like when Venus kind of expressed some of this in that first text to Marcus, that then Marcus lashed out and like wanted to end their friendship and like went around Sir and like said all the mean things that Venus said about people like behind their back to people's faces, and it hurt his relationship. We're not seeing that lashing out in response to Venus wanting space and wanting to like better his own interaction with their relationship.
As much as I don't think these three should be friends with each other. Like, I think they all should take a step back. I appreciate the communication that these three do have.
Agreed.
It's refreshing.
Agreed. Yep.
So then Lisa, oh my God, I'm going to kill Lisa one day. She's like, Venus, have you ever had feelings for Marcus? And I was like, girl, first of all, if he did, you are blasting him, because the gay friend having a crush on, like, the gay person having a crush on their best friend that is not something we need to openly discuss in front of the group.
Put on blast.
And two, no, girl, I don't think so.
I didn't get that vibe, but again, if there was any inkling or like simmering, like,
why are we gonna blast
or whatever,
him?
why do we have to do this?
Why are we blasting?
This is crazy to me.
Venus says absolutely not. He'd rather have Kim, which I was like, thank God, because
I see that. Like, I can like that. I believe
honestly,
Venus.
I think Kim would be very happy with a relationship with Venus. I think it would be better for her.
Hear me out. Lavender marriage between these two.
This
could skyrocket.
I think it would be really healthy.
Marriages that are coming in this country, pair these two up.
I think this is it. Pair them up. Like, we get assigned to the one gay friend we all have. They're like, this is it.
Yeah, the next season of Love is Blind is finding your lavender marriage.
There you go. Oh, would I sign up for that so quickly? So Marcus has noticed how Venus is uncomfortable watching Kim and Marcus fight. And Marcus has even reached out and told Venus he won't include him in their fights anymore. And he hasn't, which again, for as toxic as these three seem to be in a group, they communicate very well together once everything bad happens. So Venus gets emotional. He starts crying because this has been a lot. He shares about his past relationship, which was abusive, from high school. He had a fling with his boss, which was abusive.
My God.
So, like, he's had a lot of bad.
This broke my heart hearing this. And it also really made a lot more sense to his break from romantic love and like sex. Is I absolutely understand like removing himself from that experience.
Yeah. And he says he moved to LA for himself to make his dreams come true. So, like, he's not focused on his dating life, which I'm a big believer that, like, if and when, because a lot of people unfortunately do, you go through, like, an abusive situation, you do need to take a step back from dating for a little bit. And because it does take a toll. As someone who was in an abusive, it was even a situationship. It wasn't even really a relationship. But, like, that takes a toll on you, and you have to take time to reacquaint yourself with who you want to be, because it starts messing with your psyche a lot and like your view of yourself.
Yeah, you need to like rebuild the foundation of who you are on your own to make sure that when you enter into a dating, any type of romantic or dating situation, you can really protect secure.
Yourself. Yeah. So I commend Venus for doing that. I totally understand why he is. But then Marcus says he doesn't like to watch Venus cry like this because he doesn't think he didn't think Venus cared about him, but now Marcus is getting emotional because like he could tell Venus really does love him. And I think there's a lot of love within these three. It's really deep, but it's also really complicated. So I think they all need to do what's best for them. And if that's taking a step back, then that's fine. And maybe one day they can like rebuild their friendship from like a safer place, a safer foundation. But I do think there's a lot of like deep love within these three people.
I agree. I think it makes it difficult with Kim and Marcus continuing because it would be really hard for Venus not to slip back into that like triangulation role. And it's kind of what you knew. I think if Marcus and Kim continue to date, I think there will always be space with Venus.
I agree.
Just for safety.
I agree. Okay, so let's get into Shane and Natalie. So Shane originally saw Natalie making out with a dude, and he decided he wanted to make out with Natalie.
Oh my God.
Men are so stupid. Like, come on.
This makes sense of why Shane can just like look at Angelica and be like, oh, you just ended things with Jason? My turn. Like, yeah, he's like, let's get it rolling.
He's in. Natalie didn't even know she was really going on a date with Shane. Seems to be a pattern. She doesn't even know. She doesn't even know she's dating this man.
I love her so much for shit like that.
And she's like, listen, I tell people we're just friends. It's not my fault if you guys aren't listening, because she says, because Jason pops in.
I agree
Jason's
with that.
Like, I thought it was a date. And she goes, I kept telling you were my really good friend. And he's like, your actions spoke differently. And she's like, but my words were saying we're just good friends. So, like, believe me when I tell you.
The way he was like, oh, I just thought you were saying that. No. I understand, like, actions and words not lining up. Then you need to clarify with her when those two things aren't lining up.
Also, dude, when in the history of a girl ever liking a boy has she repeatedly told him over and over again, we're just friends? If anything, you'd be like, oh my God, I love hanging out with you so much because we want to gauge where you're at. Yeah. But if I was into a guy and he kept saying, you're my best friend, we're just friends, I love having you as a friend, I would be like, I get it. I get it. Yeah. Even if we're only hanging out, you won't tell me you like me. You got to pick up on a clue here and there.
We're actively not dating because there's the like, oh, friends to lovers type thing. But like, you're not, when you're hanging out, she is trying to continue to put you in the like friend zone. Yeah. Even if she does like you, like her saying we're just friends is either a protection mechanism where like down the road, maybe something could happen, but you'd have to have conversations about it. You have
to have a conversation. Also, the fact that every 5 minutes she's like, I'm just hanging out with Jason because it's funny. It's funny. And he's like, yeah, it's hilarious. And she's like, so?
Hear me out. She's giving the Jesse Solomon.
She's giving Jesse Solomon. It's just a joke. But the difference is Sierra says, I don't want to be a part of your joke. And Jason's like, it is really funny. And then
that's the thing.
How are we supposed to know?
The relationship dynamic is different because like Jason and Natalie aren't like besties through and through. Have dealt with things. They've known each other for 5 minutes.
They don't live in a house together. Yeah. They just see each other at work.
Natalie's like, we're getting drunk, we're making out, that's her whole vibe, and she shows up like that.
She literally made out with another girl in front of him and was like, I only like just making out when I'm drunk. She's telling you, dude.
She's telling you and she's showing you that like this is who she is.
Yeah, there should be more doubt in your mind, yes. So let's talk about Angelica and boys, shall we? She falls in love fast. She uses relationships as a distraction from her last relationship with her ex. Great. So Chris and Jason try to tell Angelica that she kept trying to make it seem like Jason purposely hurt her at this jujitsu.
She did.
She does. And Angelica was like, well, I was in severe back pain. And they're like, but you were dancing at the Abbey with your severe back. Like, what are we supposed to think? Sure, you're on pain meds, but like, yeah. You're complaining about this thing and then you're showing us something different. Also, like, we don't know what to do. I don't know
if you're on pain meds unless, like, maybe she did tell them. But, like, we didn't see her ever talk about her pain meds. All we heard was, I'm getting an MRI tomorrow. I'm getting an MRI tomorrow. And then she's dancing. And it's like, those things don't match for me.
And she did try to pin it. She's like, Jason purposely is beating me up. And it's like, we were at a jujitsu date. He did roughhouse you a little bit, probably more than he should have. But he recognizes that. And it wasn't
and he does apologize for it.
Yeah, he didn't go into the date being like, I'm gonna beat her up. But like,
that's the thing. It's the like intention. The intention she's trying to make is that like this man wants to beat her up and
out
like,
to hurt her. Yeah,
that is like, I hate to defend a man, but like, we don't need to make men who aren't doing that. We don't need to say that about them.
Yeah, he didn't mean it. Genuinely, he invited you to a jujitsu date, and he was just messing around.
Have the shared passion
for martial arts. Come on. Yeah, Angelica says she still has back pain from Jason. And sometimes when the weather flares up.
Okay. This is true. This is true when you have an injury.
I know, I have
it. The weather gets to me.
I get it.
But I'm like, girly, you have this pain. It is very real. I think she absolutely was in pain.
For sure.
I understand having pain. But you heightened it and weaponized it to make him look like a very bad person.
That. You can say, even in a joking way, like, oh, Jason hurt me. But, like, you don't have to be like, he was out for blood and I was fighting for my survival. Yeah, it was an accident and he did hurt you and he apologized and maybe he should, like, buy you flowers or pay for your MRI or something. You have to let it go at some point because he did not maliciously try to hurt you.
And, like, when people say that, like, oh, you weren't in pain. Okay, validate your pain. Like, absolutely. But you don't need to then she immediately pivots and is like, he hurt me. And it's like, no, fight for yourself and that your pain is real and separate it from Jason Jason trying to hurt you.
It's so weird. Like, it's so weird.
I don't know where the connection is in her mind. Like, she deflects on any judgment about her pain, which isn't okay, but she deflects it immediately to Jason being a bad person.
Yes. I think I have a problem with Angelica because I can never see how she gets from like one, like, okay, she got hurt, we can all agree. And then she gets to like, he was out to get me. And I can't see the connection. And I think that's why I have trouble understanding her.
Too is like she's always like, if one of the pieces of this giant story she's woven gets brought up, she's like, I need to make sure that you know at the end of it that Jason intentionally tried to hurt me, or that Jason did this, and it's like, no, like this doesn't have to go hand in hand every time.
She can't take any accountability, even if it's like, okay, I was exaggerating. Or like, she can't even just be like, I understand Jason didn't do it on purpose. Like, she can never just say like, not even take an L, but like, I'm just going to drop it. She has to keep fighting so that, again, if she hates someone, everyone has to hate this person. And she can never just dislike. She has to take them down.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. Anyway, she exhausts me. Andy asks if anyone thinks Angelica was exaggerating her back pain. And Venus says yes. And Angelica gets mad because why would anyone give their opinions on her back pain? And I'm like, girl, because you won't
stop talking about it.
That's the only storyline you have for 3 episodes. What else are we supposed to talk about?
You put it out, everybody's going to comment on it. I wish they would have asked, does everybody believe that she did hurt her back first? So then we can all be like, yes, we believe you are injured. But yes, we also believe that you are exaggerating it.
Yeah. I think it's the only thing you had. Like, it'd be like, oh, okay, Angelica, how's your back doing? You told us about it yesterday. And she'd be like, oh my God, it's the only thing that's taking over my whole life. And he's going to kill me with this back pain. Just calm down.
You have those people who can't let it go. Like, they need to just like tell, like they have to relentlessly tell these one-hit stories, and they're not even interesting.
No. Angelica loses it because now she's like, why is anyone commenting on my back pain? And Audrey responds, and Audrey's trying to stick up for Angelica, but Angelica starts yelling at her to shut the fuck up. But then Audrey does say, I think she had back pain.
Yes.
Why are you fucking yelling at me, bitch? Angelica's crazy, dude. I'm so, like, I know we're not supposed to call women crazy, but
takes any commentary as an attack, and it's like, okay, but we can hold both of these things at the same time.
Multiple things can be true.
You exaggerated. You were hurt. You are relentless about making sure that Jason is the villain anytime your back pain comes up. Like, all of that can exist all at the same time. And, like, you need to understand that that's what we think. And if you disagree, fine, we disagree. But I'm not going to stop saying that I believe those things. Like, as Audrey, as Venus, as Natalie, as Kim, like, as everybody. Like, all of that can exist all at the same time.
Also, we have to remember, for like 3 days, all she did was say, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt, I'm hurt. Jason's after me. And then next time we see her is at the Abbey and she's dancing and making out. We don't know she's 3 tequila deep and on pain meds.
Of course I'm going to think that you're making this up.
Yeah, girl, what up?
Also, her saying that she was on pain meds and on tequila, and Jason's like, that's a bad idea.
You don't care that much about your pain, girl. Those pain meds, I don't know.
Really bad idea. Don't recommend.
No. We go to Jason and Angelica. So Angelica was hurt that Jason wasn't honest about his last relationship. And Jason's like, well, you were sleeping with your ex the whole time. And Angelica's like, she like cannot make sense for the life of her. She denies sleeping with her ex and then says it's normal to sleep with your ex, but she wasn't trying to form a connection with him like Jason was with this other girl. And may I just say, first of all, she contradicted herself when she said, I'm not sleeping and then sleeping. However, when she said, I wasn't trying to form a connection with your ex, you already have a connection, girl. And you listen, if you sleep with your ex, you're trying to get something back that you used to have. Whether it be surface level or not, you have that connection. You're trying to make it stronger. Yeah.
Yeah.
And sure, Jason was trying to get another girl to like him and like was entangled with another girl, but your situation isn't better than his. They both suck. So then they confirm that Jason and Angelica have never slept together. And then Angelica, you were more in this Insta drama than I was, but she posted a picture of her text with Jason where she sent Jason a picture of her bruised legs to show like jujitsu. And Jason made a joke and was like, oh, rough sex or something like that. And Angelica said she was trying to show Jason how rough he was being, which I was like, it's not clear. Your intention's not clear, though.
I agree. And this is still at the point, those texts were at the point when they, I think, were still on. Yeah, like those were live happening while they were kind of like dating or seeing what was going on. So why wouldn't he be like flirty banter with you? Like, you have not said, hey, you really hurt me, this whatever. So he's just like, oh my God, like you kind of got beat up more than normal. And some people bruise easily. Like, I don't know if like I did something that I shouldn't have done. So he's just like bantering with you.
Yeah. She's like, I sent you that picture so you would know that you hurt me. And I was like, but you didn't say anything.
That
Picture could have been from after you left jujitsu and fell down some stairs. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know what, it was just
she doesn't
the picture.
ever make her intentions clear or like really clearly
she
communicate.
wants you to read her mind.
Yeah. And like she wants you to say everything out loud, but you're right. She doesn't want to ever have to like be very clear with the person she's engaging with.
So Jason says, watch what you post because he can post too. And he's not rude, but he's sure she wouldn't like if he posted what he had and she knows that. So she should stop talking. And I was like, what's he got on her?
I don't think anything crazy, but he basically said like that was taken out of context and you get to clip certain parts. And as people who just went like dealt with that.
I've been clipped. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not fun to be dragged publicly with clips of things that don't show the full picture. Yeah. I also do think it's crazy that she's posting these things while she's saying she's happy in a different relationship. Like, move on. I know this does dredge things up. Like, you have to live your life and then watch it back like 6 months later. That must be challenging. But what are you trying to prove? Like, again, what's the point? What's the end goal of this? And her end goal is always to make Jason look like a horrendous person.
Mm-hmm. I also think, like, to me, posting private text messages, whether good, bad, whatever, for the most part, shouldn't be done
I agree.
Like this. I think maybe there are some scenarios I could disagree, but like,
I think if you're really gross, you say insane things, like I understand being like, this is the behavior I'm receiving, but just to like prove a general sentiment is like wild.
Yeah, that really doesn't do much. And I think the other thing is like, if you give us access to part of your text, you should give us access to everything after that too, because now I want to know.
Yeah, give the whole context, the whole conversation, everything. Because what are you cutting out that like would show that you actually are guilty in this? Like, you're really trying to shift a narrative for what?
What was her response to his rough sex comment? Was it like, LOL? Because like, then what are we doing? Or like,
yep.
So, yeah, okay. So Natalie says there's also things Angelica said that were rude about the whole class, or the whole cast. Angelica said, if they get a next season, it's literally because of me. That's all I'm saying. Everyone is boring, and I was tired of arguing about who is supposed to be friends with who, like we're in 3rd grade. And Angelica says, actually, other people said that to her, but it was screenshotted as something she said. And then Angelica says, actually, though, I do think you're all boring, and no one would tell me what was going on.
Again, a switch up. Like, she tries to always, like, paint herself out to be this, like,
perfect, like, awesome.
Like, oh my god, I didn't do anything wrong. And then it was like, no, you did. She's like, okay, no, I do actually. Like, she won't just stand on what she believes.
Also, girl, you are more boring than you think.
She did bring a spice to this show. It's not the show I want to watch. Like, I do agree with her. This show is pretty boring. Like, we've said this, but
I wouldn't say she's the most exciting part. Yeah.
That is like, I can't imagine being on this cast and it's like, this is an ensemble show. This is not your show. So if it's boring, you are part of that.
You're part of it.
Like, you need to make it interesting. Like, you are only as strong as the weakest link here. You need to try to work as your cast to make this better. You're not going to be able to keep this show rolling if just 5 minutes of it is interesting.
Yeah, I think the other thing is maybe I'm not giving Angelica enough credit in the sense that she did give us a lot to talk about, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was interesting. If anything, it was like enraging.
Agreed.
Like I was having fun. So,
yeah. I understand her being like, no, I am a prominent person in this show. A lot of people are discussing my behavior.
Sure.
Is it for good stuff? No. But like, yes, you are being talked about, but this is an ensemble cast and you should not. I get to say you guys are boring and I get to talk. I mean, like, I'm not one of you. Like, you should have some camaraderie with your cast that I don't have to have.
Listen, I'm not on reality TV because I am boring. Okay?
Yeah.
You go on. This should be your most exciting parts. And like, we should see some fun. And like, yeah, Angelica has given us a lot to talk about. So that's like great and things. But her segments aren't going to hold this show. No. It's not getting renewed just because of her.
No.
I would say if it was only the Angelica show, cancel the fuck out of it.
Cancel it.
Wow, I've never been more enraged at a character.
I can't imagine Alicia texting my friends and being like, Alicia's boring, but like, I'm holding this show down. Like, thank God for me. Like, all this, like, that would be
We're
wild.
An ensemble cast. It's like, it's crazy to me. And the other thing Angelica has to realize is like, there have been a lot of characters on this specific show in the 12 years it's been airing that have angered me and enraged me. Let's say Jax Taylor, for instance. But Jax Taylor is fun and entertaining to watch. She's not in that way. She has one kind of lane.
claw my eyes out.
She has one lane, and it angers me. Jax Taylor could anger me and then make me laugh a minute later. Angelica doesn't have that like charming. It's terrible to say Jax is charming, but he is. But he can be. Angelica does not have that charming aspect.
When Jax Taylor looked at Lisa dead in the face at the end of, season 8, and said, it's my show, we all said, fuck you. It is not all about you. Like, we rioted in the same regard. You're not better than, you're not above these people. Like, she has this superiority complex constantly with people. And listen, I have one too, but like, it is wild to say this stuff publicly.
Hasn't done anything.
Yeah.
Jax Taylor, listen, at least in season 1, this is terrible, but he cheated on Stassi, and that was insane. He ripped off his chunky sweater and was ready to fight, right? In season 2, he came out and said, I cheated on Stassi with Kristen Doty, my best friend's girlfriend. Like that, he's at least given me something to talk about.
When he said, this is my show, that was season 8. He had given
you built it.
Seasons.
You built it, my guy. Yeah, you built it. You helped build this show. I will give that to you. It's not necessarily yours, but it wouldn't be here without Jax Taylor. Let me tell you. Angelica could have not been on the show, and it would have been similarly kind of the same.
Yeah.
So for her to then, we maybe would have talked a little less, but for her to sit here and be like, everyone's boring but me. And then she's like, I didn't know any of the friendship dynamics. And Natalie's like, I sat with you at a salon and told you literally everything.
Also, why is that what makes it boring? Because like you didn't get the tea? Maybe ask some fucking questions.
Also, you can't lie on camera. We say this all the time. You can't be like, I didn't know. We see you know. It was right there.
Like, I never know how to, like, take Angelica, because I'm like, I don't understand why you say and do things. Like, she doubles down on things that...
I know.
Like, she really shouldn't.
She would drive me nuts. Anyway, last thing to talk about that I'm sure we'll get to next week, too. Angelica and Audrey have a little tiff on Instagram. Angelica was offended to be called a homie hopper because Audrey encouraged Angelica to talk to Shane. And Audrey says homie hopper was a joke. And Angelica says she was being slut-shamed. And Audrey says she wasn't slut-shaming Angelica. And then Angelica brings up Chris calling her a whore, which Chris and Audrey are like, what the fuck are you talking about?
He didn't.
At the Abbey, apparently. And Audrey says if I had heard that, I would have said something. But also, you're not my friend. Why would I stick up for you?
He never actually said the word whore. I understand the intention might come off as that, but...
As a whore-ish. But yeah, he didn't say whore. So yeah, this whole Audrey versus Angelica thing, I think Angelica is trying to grasp at drama. And no one wants to play. You know what I mean?
It's her classic play of, like, she wants to make Audrey look out as the worst person alive. And are there things that Audrey should apologize for?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, we as people, there's tons of things we can apologize for. And I think Audrey would be more open to apologizing if Angelica wasn't doing her playbook of, like, scorch the earth, tarnish their reputation, you're the worst person alive to Audrey.
Agreed. Andy asked why Audrey's so mad today. Audrey says because she was brutalized on social media. And Angelica says, well, Audrey's not the only one because she was too. And let me tell you, that part, me on this podcast, Angelica.
Wait, but
I brutalized
you. I haven't seen any of these. Okay, we put one post out about Angelica. That was like the meanest thing alive of
she
her
commented, though.
No, not on that. Comparing her to Sally and Sheena about being like a pick-me.
Hilarious.
But don't
do Sheena like that.
I stand on this, but it's not like I directly called her a pick-me. I mean, obviously that was the intention. But I haven't seen any Audrey hate out there. Granted, I don't have this on my For You page. Like,
there's not much.
This show doesn't pop up for me. So like, I don't know what. Like, you are the one who screenshotted the Bravo account and told me, like, the show is being criticized heavily. But I don't get this anywhere. And we put out so much stuff about this show that, like, it should be in our algorithm.
It should be in our algorithm, but it's not. So, yeah, that's how the reunion ends. So, next time we talk about Shane hooking up with 2 girls in the group and Marcus and Kim and their pregnancy scares and Marcus Audrey argue. And then we talk about the incest and... I don't know what we spent an hour and a half talking about on this podcast, but
Kim and Marcus. They're my favorite thing to debate. Kim and Marcus versus Natalie and Venus is the most interesting dynamic of this show.
Those four are so interesting. Specifically, yes, Marcus, Kim, and Venus. That friendship really, because like I said, there's so much love, but it's so toxic. It's very fascinating to me.
But then being able to discuss it makes it easy for us to then react to it.
Yes. It's very interesting because I feel like when I'm in toxic situations, I remove myself, but they really can't because they're kind of in a workplace together and in a friendship group. So even if Venus does remove himself, he's still kind of in it, and it's fascinating.
That's how I feel about it, because it's my family. So like I could go no contact, but like, are you really going to go no contact with these people? Like, you'd have to find a whole new job, get off this show, everything.
This is fascinating. Okay, anyway, so great. We did this. We'll be back
one more episode.
We have one more. Oh, I can't wait. Okay, well, with that, do all the things I mentioned at the beginning of the season or episode. And with that, love ya.
Thanks for joining. Bye.